Okay, for Christmas this year, I'm gonna build a. Well, I'm not gonna build. I'm gonna modify a Arcade1UP for my 8-year-old son. So, ordered this kit here. This is basically the joysticks and wiring. And not sure what all came in here. Looks like we got a USB cable. I'll put a link in the description. I got this off Amazon. This is going to be the joystick module there for one side, and then one for the second player. And I got the ones with the traditional, knobs. So just screw on the tops there once these are mounted inside the cutout. Here's the independent cables that will hook. I've never hooked one of these up before, so this will all be kind of on the fly as I go. Looks like there's 2 of these. Not sure what those hook into, but we're going to learn how to do this. I'm going to learn with you guys as I go. So we got this, must be our USB input. Yeah, that's what that is. That's going to provide, assuming, power. And actually, I think what these do, this is like an IPC, I think is what they call these. Not entirely sure, but it's got start, select, auto, turbo, AL, AR, AD, AU, I guess. So basically what's happening is these buttons, individual buttons here, these wires will hook up to there and go to a corresponding keyboard button, and then this is basically like plugging in a keyboard to kind of simplify it. So you can kind of visualize this as a keyboard, and these will be your keyboard buttons, and these are your cables that are going to link that button to the corresponding what you want the button to do. And there's going to be 2 of those boards, one for each player. And controller's user manual. There's not a whole lot of instructions online that start to finish tell you how to do all this stuff. So it looks like it has version 1, version 2. Our company supply 2-type LED illuminated push buttons. So before you install the 3-pin wires to the push buttons, please distinguish them. Here we use version 1 and version 2 to separate them, and please reference the photo to learn how to connect the wires to the push buttons. For version 2 buttons, press a total of 4 ports. 2 by 4 by 8 4.8 millimeter port for the micro switch interface, 2 by 6.3 millimeter port for the LED light interface. Many customers reflect the LED light does not shine. Please do not worry, it is not a problem. Please exchange the LED lights of the 2 6.3 millimeter port position. I'm not sure what they're talking about there. Let's see here. 5-pin, 2-pin. This controller can support maximum 10 fight buttons for 1 player and 10 fight buttons for 2 player, but we're only going to have 6 for each side, so we're good there. We have provided 20-piece 3-pin wires for the push buttons. Just need to connect 3-pin wires to the push button area slots and connect the wires legs to the push buttons. Attention, due to LED lamps need separate positive and negative, so please reference the photo to install the buttons wires. I need to flip on some lights here. There, now it won't be so dark. Sorry about that. Compatible systems: Windows XP, Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Raspberry Pi, Raspberry Pi 1, 2, 3. It should support the Raspberry Pi 4. We bought a Raspberry Pi 4 2 2 gigabyte. I've got the software installed on that. It was just a ROM or a image file that I had downloaded, and it worked right out of the box. So we'll get to that later in a later video. Once we actually get the cabinet here. The cabinet will be here in a couple days. I just ordered the cheapest cabinet I could find was Asteroids through Walmart. And I'll put a link to the description on which one I bought. These are going to be all the buttons. They seem okay. And then we ordered a Asteroids panel isn't going to have the cutouts, so I went ahead and ordered the cutout for I wonder if a heat gun would actually make that sit. These corners are kind of stuck out a little bit. Anyway, this replaces the top control panel that's going to come with the Asteroids cabinet, because Asteroids cabinet is not going to play very nice. So we're going to have 6 buttons over here. I'm basically just going to cut these out. I need a sharp knife to do this. I'm not sure if I have to trim that all the way back. I just want to cut these out. So that lays down in there, and then so it doesn't really matter what side goes where. And then let's see, coin, player 1, 2 player. We don't have a. There might be a coin button on the side of the cabinet. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna have this player 1, player 2 up here. These are going to go on the other side. 1 player, 2 player, so we don't necessarily need to like cut that off. I'll just screw this on underneath here, make sure our button's straight. So, and then these don't really matter unless you want to line them up. We can probably rotate them later so that all the cables are pointed the same direction. Flip it over. You know what I mean? Like, put them all so they're in line like that. Another one right here. So I'm basically just cutting that into 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 different cuts here. So that way it lays somewhat flat. I just don't want to risk, I mean, you can cut that out if you want, but I just didn't want to risk ripping the vinyl around the edge if my knife wasn't dull enough. So that's 1 player, 2 player. Not really sure. This has got holes. Another hole here. I'm gonna leave those until I figure out what I might use those for. I suppose you could put these other buttons. Coin. You could tie coin to this one. Maybe coin. I don't know if this is coin for 1 player or coin for 2 player. I don't know why this wouldn't be here, but so yeah, I'll be back as soon as I'm gonna finish doing these here, and then I'll be right back. All right, we got them all cut out, and now we just gotta flip this over without those all falling out, and put these basically holders or clamps. Screw those down. Don't have to be super tight, but we are going to try to match them. So this one's offset, these are in line. So just put them all on the same side. They don't have to be exact because on the front you're not going to notice any difference. So we'll just go ahead and just spin these down. If you want to get technical, you get a socket and tighten them somewhat. Be careful because they're plastic. They'll probably either strip out or break, one of the two. I mean, the plastic doesn't really seem like it's... I used to play in the arcades back in the day, so the buttons aren't near as quality. Those buttons back in the day, they seemed like they were kind of like ivory almost. They were a lot more, I guess, better well made than what they are nowadays. These are all just plastic, so as long as they press and they send the signal, I guess that's all that matters. You know, one thing I was kind of disappointed in some of these ROMs that I found. There was an old game called Rampart. I don't know if you ever played it, but basically you built your castle, and you had to build your walls, and then you could place cannons inside your walls, and you'd have to shoot the other ships. There'd be a bunch of ships that would come, and they would shoot at your castle. And then you'd have so much time to rebuild your castle walls before the next round would start. So the whole point was to try to get as many I guess as much real estate as you could, so you could place a ton of cannons to take out the ships before they destroyed your walls. That was actually a really fun game. But I haven't seen it on any of the ROMs. I don't know if it exists, but that's definitely one game that I wanted to get installed. The problem is you got to have a trackball, and in order to get a trackball on these, you'd have to get another control board. Basically, that has they make them like this with the 6 buttons and then a trackball, but the trackball is kind of, I mean, it's not very well placed. They put it right in front of the this controller. so it's kind of, you know, the controller comes in the way trying to use it. But I would really like to create one that's a the old golf one, whatever that was called. I had them in bars a lot. Top Golf, I think it was. That game was always pretty fun. If you guys got any suggestions, ideas, or whatever, or input on, or any good videos out there, even, just drop a comment in the description. I'd be curious to see what everybody else has got for a setup, or if this is your first build. This is my first build, so but there we go. We got those installed. I'm gonna wait on putting these in. It looks like they'll get screwed to the board, but they have some kind. They have actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead and cut it out right now. So this is going to go up through there. Is that right? Yeah. That's the only way it can go through there. So it's going to go up through there like that, and then this will go on top. Like that. And then so it's cut for screws. I don't know if there's any screws in the kit here. I didn't see any screws. I don't see any screws on there. I don't see any screws in the box. So it looks like that would be one thing that I would have to go get is some of this trash. Some screws so I'm going to need some screws basically to attach this, but this does line up to the pre-drilled holes, so I'll just have to get some short wood screws so that I can tighten that down. But outside of that, we'll have another video here attached to this one for part 2 once we actually get the cabinet. Installing this kit here to adapt from the monitor that comes with the 1UP, so basically so that we can connect to our Raspberry Pi. So this all came together in one kit, and then we'll probably put in some custom speakers, and we'll need an amplifier. So I got this thing, another 12 volt in to run this, but we'll figure that out as we go. We'll put this sucker together. Peace.